to the Spring 2 Masters semifinal number 2, where we have one more person decide who's going to go into the finals to face off against Firebat. Is it going to be Kroba or is it going to be Powder? I'm joined by Subtle as well as Kaldi. How'd you enjoy casting that match? Did you have fun?
It was really fun, yeah. Good match, definitely, and I'm really happy with the result as well. Yeah.
Gotcha. And, Subtle, this is a 2-time stay here. I think this is almost a new record. We don't really have many people stay on for more than one.
Wow.
How does that feel?
I'm honored.
Your casting career is really taken off.
It is, going from strength to strength already. My God.
It's good. It's good. We'll keep up this consistency, and maybe you'll get to Firebat's level of consistency. He's been killing it, man. 2 finals back-to-back in Gfinity. So let's talk about this second semifinal here for just a second, or maybe a little bit few more than that. Let's talk a little bit about our first player, Kroba from Greece. He beat RDU. I know RDU was pretty upset with that, primarily because I went to the back of the Players' Lounge, and RDU is probably still watching his VODs of how he lost to Kroba, talking about every single misplay.
Yeah, I mean, I had that discussion with RDU after the game as well. We were primarily talking about the Freeze Mage game where he didn't pop the block, but
right.
The fact that RDU is already doing that half an hour after being eliminated just speaks to his strength as a player, because that means he's not going to make that mistake again in the future.
He'll be back. I mean, we'll see whether or not he chooses to do that in the future. He still thinks he might be right, but
he definitely isn't.
In the meantime, Kroba, we saw his mage, his hunter, and he also has that druid deck too. A little bit different than when he brought that Iron Juggernaut warrior from the round of 16. They were allowed to change decks to the round of 8 in case anybody didn't know. This time around, though, it seems like he's playing a little bit more straightforward, but still a little bit of flair, like Assassin's Blade, which is really uncommon to see, but how often are we seeing Harrison Jones be the common tech card nowadays? What do you feel about Kroba's choices for the round of 8?
I've played Harrison and Rogue quite a bit, and it's been going really well. The mirror is amazing for that, and it's a very common thing. I think Powder is also running Rogue, so it's going to be an interesting one. It makes the Paladin from a strong matchup to an almost unlosable matchup, for the Rogue there, and it also makes you strong against the Warrior, which is usually a bad matchup. It makes it about even, I guess, with the Harrison. So a good choice there. I think looking at these lineups, I would have to give the Powder a slight edge. He's having here Freeze Mage, Rogue, and Paladin against Kroba with Freeze Mage, Rogue, and Druid, and mainly because the Paladin is really strong against the Druid. The Druid does have a better chance against the Freeze Mage than the Paladin, so that may come into play.
Yeah, I think I would disagree, actually. I think I'd give a slight edge to Kroba, just because the way I'm looking at it, like, it's a 2-deck mirror. They both have Freeze Mage and Rogue. But Kroba's third deck, which is Druid, is better against those 2 decks than the Paladin is. And he also has Harrison Jones in his Rogue to help win the Rogue mirror if that comes up. So I think some of the interactions might actually work in his favor.
I disagree with both of you, and I think it's a 50-50 coin flip. They might as well play rock, paper, scissors right now to determine who's going to the finals, because Hearthstone's all RNG.
I think a funny thing to mention is he's actually playing the Dark Whispers, Krobat, and that is going to be amazing against Freeze Mage. Can you imagine that burst?
Yeah, actually, to take a step back into reality, I was just kidding. Some people might take that seriously. That Dark Whispers card intrigues me a lot. Assassin's Blade. Like we said, it was good against like Warrior and that kind of stuff. But Dark Whispers, if you can get that off and he can't deal with it, and you have a 5/5 minion, it's just like the same with anything. A minion with a lot of health is problematic for Freeze Mage because they don't want to fireball that and something else. That's why Ragnaros is such a triple threat, right? Yep. It's a big minion on board, it does a lot of damage to you, and it's hard to remove.
It's almost a charging low that when you think about it, So, I mean, a charging low that is going to be amazing against the Freeze Mage, I suppose, so it could be a big swing card.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about some of the cards, too, that you can combo with, but it is 6 mana. It's pretty clunky.
Yeah.
Well, Emperor Thorson has something to say about that.
I spoke to Kroba about the inclusion. He said one of the main reasons he was bringing it was for aggro decks, because aggro decks tend to include at least 1 copy of Iron Beak Owl for a Sludge Belcher. So if your Belcher gets silenced, you can then just curve straight into the Dark Whispers and you remake an 8/10 taunt.
Oh, sick! And you hit them in the face. It's like an Iron
you just
Bark
jam
Protector.
them in the face with it for 8.
Yeah, it's sort of like making a suit like a Demon Heart, right? But you add a little bit of taunt for 1 mana. You just do something. I mean, I don't think he usually summons it for the 1/1 Wisps.
No,
unless
gotta go for the Volcanic Lumber, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess maybe he's really high far in the meta, and he has Volcanic Lumber in there somewhere. But he has to kill his own Wisps first, before making a Cheever. There it is. Maybe we think about something special. Now let's talk about our second player here, Powder. Powder comes from Trig Esports. He's got the lineup, like you said, the Mage, Rogue, and the Paladin. He's only 21. He's also a university student, I believe, in the UK.
Yes.
And I think he's wrapping up soonish. He's probably finishing up, but he's also from Sweden primarily. People might say, oh, is he a UK student? But he's a Swedish player, representing well. We had a lot of Swedish players at this tournament, but only one of them remains.
An old school player, definitely from the beta. I remember when he was White Powder before. He changed that nickname to Powder just for simplicity, I guess. And
Probably for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably for the better.
Yeah, I think Powder's kind of in a weird position where he's one of the players that every player that's really involved in the scene knows that Powder is probably like top 20, top 10 players in the world. But in terms of like the average casual viewer, they don't hear of him as much as, say, a life coach or a...
They've read his name somewhere in the final standings and
Yes,
results. So like
yeah,
top 4 here, finals of event here, top 8, top 8, top 8. Like, okay, maybe see him high ranked on ladder. Maybe see him being included in some tweets with some of your favorite pros. But like, who is this guy? And now you're starting to get to see him a little bit better. And if he can face off against the finals and beat Firebat and deny him of that second championship, that's a really good way for him to start to cement himself in the minds of viewers.
I'd say he's like the best unknown pro and kind of the most known unknown player, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I feel like almost their entire team is victim of that. I say the same about Faramir or D2. Some of the guys actually in general that come from that iHearthU background in general, it just seems like they didn't really get much exposure back then. But maybe it's finally time for that to change as we get ready to go into our second semifinals. Let's do some predictions. I know you guys were saying you're leaning one way or the other based off lineups, but can we give an actual prediction? Let's start with you, Caldi.
I think I'm going to go 3-2 Powder, actually, looking at that. I think the Paladin might do well against the Druid, but I also feel like, he's going to be, I think, a stronger player with the Freeze Mage. He's been winning tournaments with that left and right here, so I'm leaning on his lineup carrying him through.
All right. And Subtle?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead and agree. I think 3-2 to Powder is the most likely score. I have been very impressed with Kroba's play this weekend. I think it's worth pointing out that he's not just some troll that's here like winning a few coin flips. He's played really well to get where he is.
He's a troll and he's good at Hearthstone.
Yes, he is both, not just one or the other.
And that's why I'm going to put my vote in his boat because I'm going to try to see if this guy can make a story out of that run. I thought Powder was going to get to the finals. Just if he can beat Life Coach, he definitely can get his way to the finals. One of the hardest obstacles to overcome. But that said, I'm gonna put my vote in for Kroba because I want to see diversity and I want to see another Greek player be able to bust out into the scene. I saw Hawkeye not too long ago, but when you think about Greek players, you think like Logan. You actually can't think of anyone. You jokingly say Crip because he's hanging out in Greece, but where are all the Greek players? Maybe we'll see one. Starting with our second semifinals. Let's give it once again to our casters.
All right, guys, welcome back. We are at the last semi-finals of the Gfinity Masters with Kroba versus Powder. One will go home and one will go to face Firebat, the current reigning champion. What are your thoughts on this so far?
Well, when my initial thoughts were Kroba is kind of like a troll, not only in real life, but also as a player. So I would give the chances to Powder here because he will be tryharding. And Kroba, I think Kroba is kind of... If I win, I will be happy. If I lose, I will be still happy because I will have the occasion to play Dark Whispers in a competitive environment, and it's just what happens. So I would give more chances to Powder here in this matchup.
Kroba's in a unique position where he's actually performed really well, but he has a lax attitude of where he feels like you said he'll be happy with whatever he gets, and a lot of players, especially in the pro scene, strive to be the best as much as possible, and that can be quite weighted on them. Whereas Kroba, if he has got that mentality, will go into this series quite relaxed and quite happy with his performance, which may play to his advantage in a kind of the mind games of this set.
He will not be distracted by the perspective of, winning a huge money pool or the WCS points. Well, he just wants to play for the game, to have fun.
Just a passion for the game.
Yeah.
So we'll be going into that match very shortly. But I think Kroba has potentially the lineups are very similar. We both have 2 rogues and 2 freeze mages. But what might come into account in the rogue mirror is the Harrison Jones from Kroba's side.
And the Assassin's Blade.
And the Assassin's Blade, yeah, a lot more damage there. 4 charges, and it can be buffed with the spell. So
It's not even about the damage itself, but the point of Assassin's Blade in this matchup is the fact that Assassin's Blade is basically a dagger with deadly poison already. So if you draw the Blade Flurry, you don't need the deadly poisons or the Tinker's Shards of Oil for the Blade Flurry. You just need the Assassin's Blade, an example. So it's enough to kill most of the creatures on the board.
Speaking of Rogue, it's actually Powder who's going to lead Rogue in this match, and Kroba's going to go with his Druid, his Dark Whispers Druid. So this is going to be a very interesting match. And
Kroba will have to wait for that Dark Whispers until Powder will play both saps.
Yeah, he's got to be confident that Powder doesn't have a sap available to him, or he's used both before he can utilize the buff of the Dark Whispers. But perhaps the other effect of Dark Whispers can come into play once he's seen a few Fan of Knives being thrown around.
Well, there's 4 AoEs in the Rogue at least. So I would say that the Dark Whispers will most likely be a 5/5 taunt.
Yeah, certainly. So Kroba's got a good start here.
Wow.
He gets piles of Shredder.
That's really insane. Next turn is Wild Grove, and you will have an Ancient of Law on turn 3, right?
Yeah, this is
turn 4. Turn 4.
This is the Dream Druid start. And he's actually Golden Druid now. He wasn't before this tournament. He grinded his last 5 wins this morning, yeah, to get the Golden Druid for this tournament. So he's bringing all the swag.
Tryharding. I'm changing my opinion.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. He's changed his mentality here, but yeah, he's got a good turn here. He gets to wrap this.
Wrap Wild Grove. That's great.
And like you said, Ancient of Law coming up.
Yep.
Talking about Powder's hand, what's going on here? It looks a bit clunky with those 2 Phantom Knives. Not really an effective thing.
Really clunky. And you can't... Okay, now we need a prep.
Yeah, prep would definitely change this hand a lot. But where'd you go from here? Do you just do a raw fan?
You have to Fan of Knives here. Your hand is so bad against Druid with double Wild Growth. You need as much cards as possible.
And double Wild Growth sometimes is such a demoralizing thing to see, especially if you're behind on hand. So Powder's already looking a bit stressed out by seeing double Wild Growth, and he's going to look even worse once he sees this Ancient of Law drop down.
If you draw, fun fact, the Nerban Egg seems to be kind of not helping right now, but it does affect the Blade Flurry, it does affect Fan of Knives, it does affect Savage Roar. It's additional 2 points of damage which will for the Savage Roar, because almost no one will kill that.
It does affect Dark Whispers as well. He could actually buff the egg with that if he draws it, if he feels like doing it. So he just takes the Fan of Knives here to draw more cards. He's got 2 mana spare with the coin, but he's got to consider where to go from here. There's not a lot going on.
The step is, in a usual scenario, when Druid player uses Innervate to innervate a creature, then the sap is great, because you basically trade the sap for an Innervate and the creature is delayed by 1 turn. I mean, to his usual turn, right? But with double Wild Grove, the sap basically only buys you time for a particular creature, and the Ancient Lure is not something that you want to sap at this point.
No, it's a 5/5 body, which is threatening, but the worst part is he's going to get to draw 2 more cards. And even Kroba's face then, when he got sapped, he was just like, okay.
Yeah, now he drops the Emperor.
Oh yeah, and he has an Emperor and another Ancient Lore. He's just got everything he needs.
So next turn will be... Now it depends on what Powder will do, but I would predict that this will be a low tap into Big Game Hunter.
Just push out we push out a very aggressive board. If he doesn't deal with this 5/5 now, he's going to have a lot of trouble. I mean,
okay, Dr. Boom, never mind. Now the Big Game Hunter will definitely be played for the Big Game Hunter.
He actually gets the value from the Big Game Hunter as well.
Yeah, that's insane.
And locks out Powder's hand. He's got sprint for next turn, but he won't be able to do it if the low pipe comes down.
Well, he will use the Keeper for and low tech. That's insane. Now you basically win the game by that.
Does Powder just concede? Does not look impressed with what he's just seen.
And the second value from the Emperor. Now you have 5 mana, 5.
Can actually play double Force of Nature if he loses any of his board.
That's almost the Savage combo. That's 12 points of time, but you have no space for that.
No, and I don't think there's going to be a lot going on here. He's got a Blade Flurry, which will clear maybe 1 or 2 of these minions, depending on where these bots land. Okay.
Oh wow! Whew.
That's a good recovery. He needs his other boombot to hit low feb or Forest.
Let me put this way. Even with a really great clear right now, he doesn't stand a chance against a hand like that.
Okay, so he's both player after being low fed, but
There's no way he can make a comeback from 2 Ancient of Lords and play at the same time.
and an innovate to boot for Nexon if he just needs something else. And he draws the Harrison as well.
And a swipe.
You just don't lose this game, do you?
No. Oh, wow. Look at that.
All the best. So Nexon he has Dark Whispers and a Force of Nature combo. But the low feb's gonna
You will
lock out.
draw a Savage Roar right now. This instance.
Another sap on Ancient. So both the saps are gone.
Yeah.
You were talking about Dark Whispers, and he needs to wait till those both saps are gone. They're gone now.
Well, you can't play the Dark Whispers now.
No, not
Well,
because of low fed,
no.
but it's coming up. I can imagine it's coming up.
Drake into...
Into Shredder.
Yeah, Shredder's fine. Why didn't he use the Ancient of Lord to just stick for 2 next cards?
I think he's pretty. He must just be confident with the amount of burst he has in his hand with these.
Well, he can play whatever he wants and still win the game because he's so far ahead.
so what is? Yeah, I don't think there's anything you can really draw that'll make a difference, and he just ends up drawing minions.
This will be a fodder for the Harrison Jones unless there's lethal.
Oh, we're gonna see
Yeah, that's
that
lethal, right? No, it's he's lacking 1 space on the board. Well, he has swipe and he has innervate, right? So he can squeeze everything.
Yeah, well, he has a.
5. No, he can't. He can play Dark Whispers and Hero Power, so that's 9. Yeah, that's 9. Never mind.
The Dark Whisper. Actually
It's really
doesn't
hard to
work.
count when you don't see the cost of the cards.
Yeah.
Like it's not the usual mana cost. Well, that was fast. It was like lightning fast.
That was fast Druid, as fast as it can be, really. And Kroba takes game number 1 pretty convincingly, but that's the power of double wild growth.
Someone should make a replay from that game and count what was the mana worth of each of the plays that Druid made. Like
Yeah.
in overall.
Yeah, with the wild
What
growth
was the mana worth of the whole game from the Druid side and from the Rogue side? I would say Druid outvalued by 4 times the Rogue with the
incredible.
cards.
And the Aphoroson and the Wild Growths and just the
Yeah.
Ancient of Laws, having to sap the Ancient of Laws, there was just no hope for Powder in that game. So Kroba actually has his Rogue and Freeze Mage left, whereas Powder still has his whole lineup, so he's got rid of the Druid here, and we may see some mirrors coming up now. We were talking about this in the analysis. A lot of these mirrors will come down to kind of mirror knowledge, playing those mirrors in tournaments and in practice. Who do you think's got who's
Well,
favored?
Kroba is favored with the Rogue versus Rogue Mirror, but I think Powder is favored with the Mage Mirror. He has just more experience, I think.
Okay, so the Rogue favor is based on tech cards. So we got the Harrison Jones, we got that Assassin's Blade, and we're basing the Freeze Mage Mirror based on experience.
Well, let me rephrase it. It's either experience or who draws the Emperor first.
Yep, that's true.
And I think that Freeze Mage was a top tier deck, but with the addition of Emperor, it was just pushed to one of the best, if not the best deck in current format.
I mean, it speeds up its kill turn, so it makes it just so much faster, which is incredible for the deck. What do you think of the Paladin in this lineup here? Paladin?
I would say Paladin and Druid and Priest are, well, maybe not Druid, but Paladin and Priest are one of the worst classes you can pick now for Conquest.
Yeah, we saw the Paladin really struggle against Live Coach. He did net the win in the end, and he did take the series, but I was saying I think the Paladin was the weaker link in this lineup because it's dropped in power since the release of all these new cards. I mean, the Dragon cards may help it, but...
No, they won't.
You don't think so?
At least not with the current week.
Oh, no, but overall, on the overall scale with the Hungry Dragon...
I'm not so optimistic when it comes to Dragon Construct. It looks like a great card on paper, and it's basically a 5/5 minion with Innervate built in, but to see it compete in a tournament, I'm not sure.
Only time will tell, I guess. See what the pros can cook up with that deck. So we go into Freeze Mage.
The pleasure
Rogue.
is mine.
So this is a match I generally see Freeze Mage win quite a lot. sometimes because the rogue, that ice block is really troublesome for the rogue to pump out, because they pump out a lot of damage and then they may have used everything by then, and then the ice block pops, and then
It's kind of similar to the warrior matchup.
yeah.
It's kind of similar, but the warrior is much more potent to buff his armor way above 40, right? And the mage can basically do what, 46 maximum, unless he uses Alexstrasza on himself. But most of the time, you will use Alexstrasza in the offense, right?
And we actually see that Forest on in Powder's hand, which we were just talking about. So that's going to play a big part in reducing his hand cost, like a Flame Strike dropping down to 6. We got 1 mana Frostbolts. I mean, one thing that Forest does with these Frostbolts and such, it makes Antonidas really powerful as well. Very powerful. You get Fireballs back, you throw really cheap Frostbolts around, it's just incredible. But looking at
What is worth noting is the fact that the Rogue versus Freeze Mage matchup was really bad for the Rogue some time ago, but the single addition of Tinker Sharpsword Oil kind of even it out. I'm saying it's 50-50. It's still a favorite for the Freeze Mage, but now the Rogue has better matchups against Freeze Mage than before.
If you compare Miracle Rogue and Oil Rogue, like Miracle Rogue had its...
Why would you say that? I'm not following the thought process here.
Wait, did you?
Yeah, did you prep Sap for the mad science? I really can't tell why.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, there are higher value targets than Mad Scientist here. Coruscant, for example.
I just think that the prep is more valuable than sapping.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, another thing is he had 2 scientists down, right?
Yes.
Maybe he was just trying to protect his Drake from the trade.
But he killed one with his weapon.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it's a bit strange. Do get
Backstab for 4. Wow.
That's a bulky backstab, and he draws 1 card, he gets Doomsay, and then he just pops that barrier.
Now he has to kill. If he wants to put the same kind of strategy he was playing last turn, he should have killed the Mad Scientist with his weapon.
Yeah. Maybe Kroba is not very knowledgeable of this matchup.
Who knows? Well, now Emperor? Why not, right?
Yeah, Emperor seems really good here. I mean, it does get cleared up pretty easily with, say, like an Eviscerate or something, but it does its job. It reduces your total hand cost.
It basically has taunt.
Yeah, and it soaks up some burst, which is what he wants, and sitting at 30 health and 4 armor. Mage looks pretty decent right now. I mean, you'll reduce the cost of a lot of things, and you'll be able to drop a lot more in 1 turn, like maybe an Ice Barrier with a Flame Strike a little bit later on, or a Doomsday or something. So
Flame Strike would be really, really great this turn, but it's 10-6, so that's not gonna happen.
I mean, if he plays Forester now and uses an Eviscerate, and he say drops a Shredder with that, the Flame Strike becomes even better then because it clears up more minions.
Yeah, that's true. What about Ice Barrier and Doomsday? I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But Emperor is still the best.
Emperor's going to do its job here, reducing the hand cost, getting a 0 mana Ice Lance as well.
So you got 10 points of damage for 2 points of mana.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And Fireball, so that's 16. If you get 2 more attacks with your Mad Scientist, you basically win the game.
Although these Outer Drake spell power has been doing some work here. He had a 4 damage backstab.
Yeah, but now they will die.
And now they're going to die to the Flame Strike, that's true, but he got some value from it at least. And we do see an Ice Block go down as we see the Ice Barrier in Powder's hand. Yeah, really nice. Oh, he might play the Doomsday here, say here to stop any minions being played.
And it's also killing the loader. If Kroba would just want to deny the spells next turn, but that will not happen. Sprint with prep is the best option, I would say.
Does he need to...
No, yeah, you're right. Why would he
face
the prep here? No, there's no point in doing that.
He gets the Doomsayer there.
Yeah.
And he gets the Frost Nova straight after, but it's fine. I think the Doomsayer did its job.
So now, based off your draw, you can adjust your strategy. You didn't get any mob burn, so...
Just play a...
That was Powder played Pyroblast.
Yes. We
Okay.
saw, yeah, we did see a Pyroblast in one of his games earlier. But I don't think he plays anti-Keelbot like Reynard was
Okay.
playing.
That belongs in a museum.
So Harrison comes down, just build a bit more of the board, but we do see that Powder has ways to respond to this. He's got plenty of options.
You know what? Harrison Jones should be choose one, destroy a weapon or disarm a trap.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Be a bit powerful. Bit too powerful though, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wow, that's the second fireball. Next turn, that's 12, 15, 18, 22 points of damage.
Wow.
Let's leave on next turn. Seems good.
And he's got no healing in hand either. He's just gonna keep trying to develop this board, do as much damage as possible. It's just not gonna be enough. Powder's gonna be really happy here when he sees the pass.
Ding.
Oh, and another Ice Lance to boot.
But that's not mana. Oh wait, he can squeeze all. Because I forgot that the Ice Lance now is for 0 mana.
That's the power force.
What is he thinking about? It's lethal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was counting it. 6
Just
times.
making sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. Like he's in a situation where he can go to the grand finals here. Just take that extra time to make sure if you need to. So Powder takes a game from Kroba with his Freeze Mage, leaving him his Rogue and his Paladin. This leaves Kroba with his Rogue and Freeze Mage. So as far as lineups go, Kroba's still looking pretty good here.
Well, he can... Rogue and the Mage can easily beat the Paladin. Easily.
And this is the weak link in the lineup we were talking about with Paladin. You feel has dropped off quite a lot since his wing of Blackrock. So on paper here, Kroba is looking exceptional, but Powder's the one with the experience. He's the one who's been in the scene for a long time. He's been grinding out those tournaments, been going to a lot of events. So ultimately here, I think experience and skill is what Powder needs here to win this series.
True. And, well, Powder has had this exact same situation. His Paladin deck had a minor disadvantage against Life Coach, and he still won. So maybe we'll have the same scenario here against Kroba.
Yeah, so what do you think Powder should pick here? Should he pick the Paladin to Freeze Mage? What would be his ideal situation here in pick-wise?
I don't think there's a difference.
You don't think it just doesn't matter? He just has to win regardless?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, with the Paladin, he has the healing, he has the anti-heal bot, he has the lay on hands. I mean, that can be useful sometimes against Freeze Mage. The thing with Freeze Mage is they still have so much reach with its damage that sometimes the healing doesn't matter. But the one thing the Rogue has against the Paladin as well is having the Fan of Knives and all the other stuff that really cripples the Paladin. It has the Harrison as well to deal with some of its removal.
Well, the fact is that the Rogue can be great against both Rogue and the Paladin. So you have two bad matchups.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight for Powder here, but he is the player with the most experience in this matchup right now, so hopefully that'll be enough to take him through to the next game. And we do see the Rogue Mirror coming out.
Rogue Mirror and Kroba has the coin.
Wow, that's a big advantage, because he gets some combo activators for stuff like SI and for his Tinkers.
It's not only the Harrison Jones Assassin's Blade deck cards, but also the coin. This is really important.
And Kroba is going to get this damage poison down, clear up this fast here pretty easily. And we'll probably see an SI7.
Why? I don't like that. I would prefer him to just play Bad Matches.
Yeah.
Or maybe even just Deadly Poison and play the Bad Teacher next turn.
Yeah, well, I think that's fine. I guess with the Violet Teacher as well, you could bait some removal out from Powder, and you'd still have like the removal options he has now, because he kind of wasted a removal option with the SI7, but it's only 2 damage. I mean, a lot of the rogue stuff doesn't have 2 health, so I don't know. I think it's fine. I think you're correct. You could have been a bit more patient there.
Well, I think that's the one thing that Kroba lacks, is patience.
Yeah, it's kind of in his personality.
He's doing everything really lightning fast.
Yeah,
and he has the Harrison Jones. Wow.
That's going to be incredible.
Because Powder will wait with that Blade Flurry, and will wait with the Deadly Poison that he has already attached. I mean, the Deadly Poison that he played last turn. He will wait with that weapon, so that Harrison Jones will have really huge value here.
I have seen situations where Harrison Jones just takes out a 1-2 weapon.
Okay, I was wrong.
Oh, he's just going for it. I guess he feels pretty safe with that extra.
I was
deadly
thinking
weapon.
about saving the weapon because you have the Blade Flurry, you know? But maybe he's playing around the Harrison Jones.
Oh wow, he gets the prep here with the eviscerated hand, so he can clear up this. So yeah, he can clear up this Iron Cleave really easily with the prep.
Wouldn't you just play the Harrison Jones? You draw 2 cards, and you also prep Eviscerate as a difference. And
Yeah.
your Azure Drake is not relying on a weapon on board to
mean,
draw cards, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've seen Harrison being used for that a lot, just taking out the 1-2 weapon, getting that card draw. And because one of the annoying things for rogues sometimes is daggering up again. It can kind of mess up their line of play if they haven't got a dagger in advance, and then they have to plan another turn ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's also situations where Kroba might be thinking, I want to save this Harrison for when I see, say, a Tinkers or something. But the thing with Tinkers is you usually see a Blade Flurry straight after.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think you're right there. I think Harrison would have been better.
Also, one point, Harrison will not be sapped.
That's true.
There's no chance at all, unless the game ends next turn, that Harrison will be sapped.
Yeah,
And yeah, we'll just see sap on Azure Drake.
yeah, you were right there. He would have drawn 2 cards. The spell power would have made no difference. He would have still got the same kill on the Van Cleave, and he would have got sapped.
And now he will play Harrison Jones. Yes.
So kind of a turn too late. And I think looking at Kroba's face, I think he kind of realizes this now. But he just goes for the Drake again. Still wants that card
Now
draw.
I really don't like this. You have the backstep in your hand. So why would you sacrifice the spell power when you know there might be a 3/3 coming from your opponent, and you can just use your 0 mana card to kill it?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. There's so many 3/3s in these decks that it's worth keeping the Drake. Where you can just play the Harrison like you should have last turn, this turn. So we kind of backtracked again, unfortunately.
How do you deal with the low tap? Do you use the backstep for 5 points, 5 mana?
I think he's just gonna ignore it.
Yeah, that's really weird. Next turn for Powder,
That belongs in a
most
museum.
likely.
No, Powder doesn't seem too bothered by this.
No, that doesn't really matter. The thing is that Powder has to clear the board next turn. It's not about the distraction of his weapon. The distraction of his weapon just means he has to use 2 more mana to, you know, remake his dagger. That's the one thing that he's annoyed by, not the card draw.
Yeah, it does set you back a turn sometimes with the prep.
Oh, the prep. This might be very important. Tinker's Rhapsody Oil? Nope.
But you can still Deadly Poison prep Blade Flurry and still clear the board.
Yeah,
With the spell.
he has the spell power.
And here we go. He's going to be able to clear this board up and gain board advantage once again. We do see some options in Kroba's hands to maybe regain the board because he's still got to have a back so.
But it's really low.
Oh, both of them are really low as well. So, and I guess Kroba's going to
You
get.
can clear 2, right?
Yeah.
With ease. What about... Let's see if that's enough mana. Violet Teacher, backstep to low tap. Prep, Tinkers,
So
Blade
many
Flurry.
options.
That's 7, right?
Yeah, 7.
And you have you cleared the board. You have board presence. I think that's the best you can do.
Unless he just goes for the prep. Well, he's doing it with the
Anti-Q-bot.
instead. So he kind of, I guess he feels, because he feels so low, he wants to top up a little bit his health. But he gets the 8 damage in there, which is going to be brutal for Powder.
He was at 14, right? Was what? He saw 1 Blade Flurry. He saw 1 Eviscerate. I'm thinking about why would you be worried about 14 HP? I'm not sure.
As he just feels more comfortable with the dagger, the Tinker's Oil landing on
that's
that
the
minion.
Eviscerate.
Wow, so he gets to deal with that. I guess he would have had all the tokens as well. So we would have given him a decision to eviscerate all Planet Knives if he had gone with the Violet Teacher instead.
Well, if the Violet Teacher will play around cards like Eviscerate.
Yeah, that's true. So Kroba has his he drops his Violent Teacher now, but the only difference is he doesn't generate any tokens this time.
I would have just used the Eviscerate right now. Because the Eviscerate can be used to deal phase damage because you have a sap. The sap will have the board present value, and the Eviscerate is just a burn spell. So you can use it right now to generate one more minion on board.
Although Powder is in a tight spot here, I mean, Kroba has 25 health again, and he's going to have to... we're going to probably see a sap again come from Powder. And he's going to dagger up 6 health.
Well, that's 5 damage from current board state. Kroba needs just one damage. Shift.
And what does
No one
he
plays that
roll?
card anymore.
Oh, he drops
Sprint.
sprint.
Well, you
Okay.
can do that. How many preps did he use? 1, right?
Yeah, I think so. No, he's used 2. He used 1 on the Tinkers and he used 1 on the Eviscerate.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So, okay, so there's no... Wait, here's the second deadly poison.
He does, yeah.
Pay attention, class.
So he could have he would have gone for the sprint and just
I am ready.
maybe win this turn. And I think that's what he should have done.
Oh, and he snaps the SI.
Well, that's still okay.
To learn.
Never
Gets the
mind.
attack with the
Yeah.
weapon and re-dagger as well. Puts him on 1 health. I don't think Powder can come back from this. He's got a very minion-heavy hand. He's used a lot of spells already to try and kind of... He's been playing very reactive all this game, Powder. Because
And now his hand is minion heavy, which is awful.
yeah, especially in this situation, he's just going to dig for something. Gets another
That's not
minion.
it. Now it feels like a druid, which have drawn all the cards that are high mana cost, and he can't play it because he doesn't have the time to use those cards.
Yeah, exactly. So Kroba's going to take it 2-1. Some shaky plays from Kroba there, but ultimately it didn't really matter because
Yeah.
he took the win.
Well, as we said, Harrison Jones played a really big role in this matchup, and it could have been even more skewed towards Kroba if he would just play the Harrison Jones on turn 5 instead of the Drake. That would be such a huge advantage there.
Like you said, he just couldn't sap it then, could he? Because he didn't want to give him 2 more cards. He didn't want him to destroy another weapon, which would cost him another 2 mana. So
Yep.
he would have potentially wasted 4 mana and not be able to sap a 5/4 and have that 5/4 sitting there basically. And if he did sap it, he lost so much hand advantage and mana advantage. It was just such a bad play for him.
True. Well, now Kroba is left with his Freeze Mage, which is great against both Rogue and Paladin. And let's say Kroba has a 70-30 with both matchups, right?
Right.
So that means not only he's favored in both matchups, but he also wins. He also has to win just one game with that.
That's true.
That's really insane probability, I would say.
Yeah, it's looking so much in Kroba's favor right now, but we shouldn't count Powder out just yet. You know, he's a very high-skilled player. Maybe he can pull something off with these last 2 games, but it's going to take a lot of work on his part and some good draws, I think.
But when it comes to card games, the biggest difference with about the whole match is the preparation.
Yes.
So lineup and proper mindset, and then just not making misplays in the game. But it's most important about the matchups itself, because that's the biggest part of the game.
And this is where we see the strength in Firebat. He does a lot of preparation with his lineups, spreadsheets, statistics, percentages, and it all plays a big part in kind of high-level Hearthstone and having these figures available to you and being able to read like matchups and win percentages and such like that. So we're actually going to go straight into the next game. So we're having no break. We're going to finish this series now, and it's Rogue versus Freeze Mage. So what do you think of this hand for Powder? What do you think he should keep and what do you think he should throw away?
Prep and Palto Triller and Azure Drake I would say they should stay. Maybe even keep the whole hand. You don't need any spells like Eviscerate,
Hello.
Fan of Knives, and you don't need that. So he kept the whole hand. That's a good call.
I mean, he has the coin as well, which is always great for the Rogue. And he has a 4-drop on his 3, and then he has, another 5-drop on his 4 because of the coin. So, yeah, he gets to develop a really good board from turn 3 onwards. And it's not unusual for an oil rogue just to dagger up on turn 2 either, so it doesn't even mess up its curve. We're having a hand with 4 and 5 drops, so this is a really good hand for Powder. But looking at Kroba, he's got a very early ice block on the field, and he has his Scientist, which will guarantee to fetch him an ice battle.
Well, for Kroba it doesn't look good, at least for now. If he gets an Arcane Intellect next turn, that's not good.
No, it's those Ice Lances, there's things you want to see later. You don't want to see them right now.
So you're just paying the Violet Teacher to go face with the Mad Scientist? I would just go with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's pinging the Violet Teacher's set for the Flame Strike, but that's still 3 turns away. But it's just kind of, he hasn't got a lot going on here, so it's not many other options or line to play he can take.
You have the Doomsayer for Snuffles, that's not so bad.
Yeah, he's got a way to answer the board, and we can see in Powder's hand he has a very minion-heavy hand anyway.
Oh, that's the sprint, which is really important because when your board will get blizzard, will get frozen or whatever, then you just spend your mana for a sprint with or without the prep. It depends on what you need.
Yeah, when some classes can't deal with the Doomsayer Frost Nova combo, it can lead to some very passive play, like just hero power in or something like that. But the advantage of having a sprint prep, you just use that. It's just a perfect opportunity. You don't lose anything by doing it.
Yeah, and that's exactly the scenario now. He would prep into sprint.
These tokens won't make any difference, but getting that card draw is going to make a massive difference.
A prep into stab would be nice.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
2 backstabs? Nope. That's not beta when you can use both of this on the same target.
I guess the other scrap though, that could come in handy.
Mad Scientist! But that's nothing you want to get now.
Oh, Kroba plays a raw Doomsayer there.
Next turn, Emperor. Just to get the value.
Look at Kroba's hand though. It's Pyroblast, Icelands. It's just not looking good. He's lucky he's got these secrets down now to kind of help him survive and draw into better stuff.
Okay, you can kill the Doomsayer with double agents.
This guy's
Oh yeah, that's true. And he's almost certainly gonna get a Flame Strike down on these minions. And
Yeah, well, his hand is so big he can do that. He can sacrifice the minions right now.
I mean, these are kind of low-value minions as far as the rogue deck's concerned. He's still got Drakes and stuff to come in the Forest on, so...
Yeah, the spell power might matter a lot when it comes to eviscerates.
Oh, that's true. When it comes to trying to finish off this mage.
Good thing that Flame Strike is not giving phase damage.
That's true. So he's gonna get another point of armor off. Probably drop the Forest something.
Probably.
Definitely. Oh, it's looking really good for Powder here. I mean, look at the reduction he has on his hand there.
So, sprint with prep costs you 2 mana.
Oh, do you have the Frostbolt?
Oh,
Ice Lancer?
that sucks. I don't think you can afford to give Powder more discounts.
Ice Lancer, ping. Okay.
That's a huge commitment. That's a really huge commitment. I don't know if they ever liked it. He will not use the Frostbolt to freeze his hero because there will be a huge Tinker Sharpshot oil with Blade Flurry in the same turn. The same as in the mirror with Rogues. So I don't like that at all. I would rather keep the Ice Lances just for the freeze effect for minions.
Yeah.
Because your hand is basically trash.
4 damage to on that poor Loot Hoarder. And he gets another Frostbolt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And another Scientist.
So now he has to use the both Frostbolts to face if he wants to win. We'll see. You
And
Frostbolt twice face. He's at 18. You get Pyroblast, so that's 8. Let's hope he doesn't have any heals. And you have to squeeze 2 more pinks. That's it. With your current hand, it's awful. You have to do something. And using the Frostbolts on minions, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. You lose the potential to win the game.
And the problem is he hasn't drawn any card draw right now, and it could go like that for the rest of the game. So if he plays passive, he'll just lose. Like I said, he needs to take the initiative here. He needs to find a way to win this game with what he has, or he's just sitting there waiting to be beaten by this rogue.
What he needs is a second Flame Strike, but there's a low tip, which always means a GG against the Freeze Mage. If properly timed, of course.
Alright, so Deadly Poison comes down. Is he going to swing in for some more damage? Yep, so that's what he's going to go for. Will we see an Eviscerate here, do you think?
You mean face? For six damage? Yeah, I think that's legit.
He just saps.
No, he has Eviscerate for 1.
I think you Eviscerate here. 6 damage
Yeah, you
seems
do.
nice.
No, he didn't. Okay.
Here's this card draw a little bit too late, unfortunately.
I think very little.
But he gets the ping on it, so he gets to draw a card regardless, which might help him. And he gets Frost
Frost
Nova.
Nova. Well, you can squeeze both. So you just play that and the Mad Scientist.
Alright, so he's got something going on here, but it's still going to be a tough battle for Kroba to come back here. So once that card is, so he goes for the finalize. Gives him an extra card. Oh no, of course, the spell power. That's crazy.
Double Blade Flurry. And 12 damage with Eviscerates. Wait, that's a huge amount of damage.
Oh, he gets his other Acolyte ping, but he can't ping it right now because he needs to...
Well, he will ping it from the bombs.
Yeah. Unless he goes
Oh, that's awful for Kroba.
That's
I
like
mean,
the
the
worst
4
case
damage.
scenario.
I mean, the 4 damage for to face. That's really awful. It's good that he banked those bombs right now, because they can be a real liability when you have your last ice block up and you have to clear the board during your turn, and the bombs kill you because the ice block is not popping when it's your turn.
Oh, the low fab. I think
Well,
this might close things out very soon.
double Eviscerates for 1 million damage.
Five damage Blade Flurry as well.
It's still not popping this turn.
Wait, Oh, okay. So, in essence, he's playing around the Ice Spire right now. I mean, the next Blade Flurry is going to do 3 damage and pop his block, but he's probably... The Ice Spire is not going to make any difference now because he's just so low.
So you ping the... yeah, the Green Doctor, boom. That's a Green Goblin, right?
Yeah, look, actually, it does look like Green Goblin.
And he uses the bombs too.
Yeah, the Goblin, the Pumpkin Bombs. Yeah, maybe that's what it was inspired by. So how's Powder going to win this game? So many decisions to make. So this block's going to be popped regardless. So he wants to take him down to...
He needs the second ice block, and he needs Electrode.
And you can't do both.
Yeah, you have no innovate. How can you win this game?
Just
Arcane Intellect into ice block.
Pay
Into-
attention, class.
Frostbolt.
You have the, what? Oh, I don't know.
Oh no, you can't. Can you? Nah, that's it.
Yeah, you Frostbolt concede.
Frostbolt, own face.
Yeah, you pull off a Ecup.
Alright, so Powder actually ties this up 2-2. He's got his Paladin going into Freeze Mage, though. It's going to, again, be pretty tough. Powder was really fortunate there that Kroba didn't have a lot going on in his hand.
Yeah, his
But
hand
they-
is awful.
He just couldn't defend against the onslaught of Powder. Powder had everything he needed. The sprints when he needed them. He had the 4 drops, the 5 drops.
Yeah.
Just
Well, you know, it's justice for the for Kroba's draws against Life Coach. He had like the perfect draws. No, against who was he playing again? Against RDU, right?
RDU, yes, that's true, yeah.
Like the Druid draw was disgusting.
Then again, look at the Druid draw he had in the first game of
Oh,
the
yeah,
series.
right.
That was just
That was
absolutely
disgusting
disgusting
too.
as well. So we're going into game number 5. It's going to be another 3-2. This tournament has had so many 3-2s. It's just incredible.
You think that's because players are prepared?
Yeah, and players are hungry, I guess, apart from Kroba, who apparently isn't that hungry for this win. He's just enjoying the ride. But yeah, a lot of players are hungry for the win here. Get a title under their belt, get some prize money, and get some points for the World Championship, which are really important right now.
Yeah, it's the most important for those players which are aiming for the BlizzCon, like, because they need to prove themselves. Like Firebat, he needs to get into the BlizzCon and prove second time he can be the world champion. It will be totally insane if he wins the BlizzCon again.
Yeah, 2-time world champion. You don't get a lot of them, and it's such a young game as well. To have a player take the world championship twice would be incredible and show a lot of consistency.
Yeah. I don't know what to say if that will happen, but still, the being first in the overall standings of the World Champions give you such a huge advantage in the BlizzCon final stage, because it means you will get, I think, 2 or 3 buys.
Yeah, you skip some stuff, don't you?
You skip some phases, so it's really important to be at the top of the standings. And tournaments are basically, when you think about an example, Gfinity Spring Masters, winning this tournament takes 1 month of laddering. Because you have to be rank 1 on ladder too. Because if you end rank 1 on ladder, you get 50 points. If you win Gfinity, you get 50 points. Yeah, so it's the same value.
Ladder's really competitive at the moment as well. Like those points, like you said, they really matter. So a lot of people are really trying to smash ladder and get that rank 1 and get those buys, like you were saying, to kind of jump in the queue a bit. And the players who get like 1 or 2 points will be really have a long road ahead of them to get qualified. So they do matter a lot. So this is game number 5. We have Powder's Paladin going up against the Freeze Mage again.
Kroba seems something funny, or he's just trolling as usual.
So Powder, he's kept the Acolyte of Pain, so we get some card draw this game. He doesn't get it too late like last time. So look at the Powder's hand.
Kult Master is awful. It's awful in this matchup, because what will you trigger it on?
Oh, he has a curve.
Job's done.
Oh, he gets 2 Acolyte of Pains.
That's
an
not bad.
And a Loot Hoarder.
No, that's not bad.
I think what he was thinking then when he kind of did that emotion was, this is where all my card draw was.
Yeah.
Where was this last game?
Maybe.
So this zombie child will contest this pretty easily.
Put this apple on your head.
And he'll protect this Knife Juggler. But more importantly here, Powder needs to draw.
Oh, Alexstrasza already being drawn.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah. Now you know how to deal with those creatures. I mean, with the game. You know that you can play Alexstrasza on turn 9 and not count with drawing that late game.
Yeah, you're not like you said, you're not waiting for it to come along. Your game plan is secure now. It's just all about getting as much draw as possible, drawing all that burn, and winning. And we see a nice block there. We see a nice barrier. It's a bit clunky because you obviously want the science more, but at least they're there. His game plan is set.
Now, Kroba is like, damn. It's turn 4, he has the coin, and he just mastered.
Oh, he has a Doomsayer. They can't do a lot with it. He gets to ping this this Knife Juggler though.
So he's not intimidated by the Quartermaster at all.
Well, he's got no choice really. If there's gonna be a Quartermaster, there's gonna be a Quarter.
Oh wow!
That's
that
a lot of
top
damage.
deck.
To arms, men!
And a cheeky little grin from Kroba there.
Does Powder have an answer to the Doomsayer First Nova? Not now, but if he top decks next turn I will just eat my head. And I don't own a hat, so I have to buy one.
You just have to go and buy a hat in London and eat it. Oh, it's a Cult Master. Okay.
Well,
so Kroba's gonna get some heal in here from the zombie chow.
True. That's a very good point.
So
it means like a one attack from the True Solar Champion.
Yeah. So things slow down a little bit, but he still needs.
Well, you know, Mage has the full information about how bursty is the Paladin, and the answer is not bursty at all.
Exactly. And he gets the choice to Ice Barrier or Ice Block here. So he can sustain now. I think that was really good for Kroba having that Frost Nova and that Doomsday, and Powder having no answers, because now look at him, he's feeling a bit more comfortable now.
Now he has to play the second Scientist, I think. Because he already drawn 3 secrets, so he's only 1 secret left in his deck. So the Mad Scientist has to be played as fast as possible.
Yeah, I agree with that, because you don't want to draw that Ice Barrier again, because you want to utilize your mana as much as possible. And drawing secrets with Mad Scientist is just such a pain.
Frostbolt, top deck? No.
Okay.
Nothing really useful. Yeah, you have to Blizzard this. That's really sad, but you have to.
So he takes these two shielded guys will still get frozen, but they don't get taken out.
Oh! Loaded.
Reporting for duty.
So no spells for Kroba next turn, unless he goes.
Will that pop his block too? I mean, potentially with a True Silver Champion. 4, 9. Nope, that's 1 off.
The thing that Powder's probably considering here, does he want to save the low feb for after the Alexstrasza, for example? Or does he want to play more aggressive here? I would like Powder to use it now, just to take that aggressive
I think
stance.
you have to use it.
Because how's he going to win otherwise? He just...
If you lose those creatures to next AoE, you lose the game instantly. You have to squeeze the damage from those creatures that you have on board.
Yeah, low feb's going to come down by the looks of it. And that Flame Strike's not going to be able to do anything. It costs too much mana.
So probably Kroba will play Ice Block, I would say. Yeah.
8 mana Ice Block. He had no choice there. He needed to protect himself as much as possible. And this is a Consecrate, so a little bit of burst. Not much, but it's 2 damage. It's a shame you can't pop the block here, but...
Next
Reporting
turn,
for duty.
Blizzard, Acolyte of Pain, or Mad Scientist. I would prefer the Mad Scientist. Or, wait, no, I would still prefer the Mad Scientist here.
Just so he can cycle that secret out of his deck. And he just go for it.
The secret is really important here because you cancel the potential True Silver Champion,
Yeah.
right? And also you thin your deck, so you have more options to draw relevant cards like Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Fireball, Pyroblast. What else? Those are the most important right now when you have Alexstrasza.
cards, yeah.
And Tinnitus maybe.
It's an 8-point heal pretty much as well, and it puts the it'll put the Paladin out of reach so much, because like you said, they've got no burst other than like True Silver Kong or Double Kong. That's pretty much their burst as far as things go without a board. So
Yep.
it just helps him put out of reach. So it's a really good play from Kroba. And he gets a really tidy Flame Strike here as well.
Oh, there's an Archmage.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that's fine, I think. Now he's super safe. He has cleaned the board. What is worrying about is a Tyrion.
Oh, we see another Annoyatron. This is interesting. We didn't see Annoyatrons much in Powder's last game, last series. We saw like 1. And he's got that Blood Knight, so he's trying to utilize like a big
Frostbolt would be nice.
Oh.
So Antonidas, Frostbolt, Cultmaster, pass. Well, okay.
I do prefer that because you do draw the burst you need to finish this game, because he still hasn't drawn enough burst yet.
Well, he has like 10 cards left in his deck, so almost every single draw he will now get will be burst. He has 2 Ice Lances, 1 Frostbolt, 2 Fireballs,
Pyroblast?
and Pyroblast.
Yeah, 11 cards actually.
So half of the deck is burst.
Oh, Zombie Child, that's an awful draw for Powder.
It's the best draw, man. Best draw ever.
It's the best draw for Kroba if he plays it, and he's most certainly not going to play it. It just doesn't achieve anything.
And you can't attack because you keep the armor.
Is he going to play it?
Yeah, Powder knows this is the end.
So this is going to stay alive another turn, reduce that cost of his hand even more. He's trading, he's trading 3 damage for 5 damage. Yeah, that's pretty good.
This is incredible. Alexstrasza is a 1.5 Pyroblast on legs.
Just 15 damage to the face.
Yep.
And what does he draw? Not an equality.
Equality.
Okay.
Well played.
Well played.
Just not going to be enough though.
What is funny is that now Kroba lacks the spells for the Antonitis.
Yes, he did. He can't play the ice block because they're already in
Well,
ice block.
next one will be Pyroblast. You will see.
Lova's calling it. Magic Pyroblast off the top.
1 to 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
that's
nice.
nice.
That's a spell though.
Let the pain speak to
Gets a
me.
ping for another spell here. Most likely going to be a Fireball or a Pyroblast. Fireball.
Fireball.
You require my assistance.
And you can just put Ice Lance around somewhere.
Nice, that's the zombie chow.
Yeah. Get that extra Fireball, secure the win for next turn. So a lay on hands
Doesn't
won't
change
make any
anything.
difference at all.
And
The victory.
that's it.
Oh wow, Kroba.
Kroba in the finals. Who would have thought?
I know, Mr. I'm here to play for fun is actually in the grand finals versus the reigning champion Firebat. And like last time, a qualifier goes through to the finals.
I'm really, I just want to see the Reddit topic I've upvoted on the first page. Someone just won Gfinity with a Dark Whispers in his deck. And everyone will be like, what?
Really?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, you should have seen his other deck, his warrior deck, and have the list up there. And people are like, what is this? This is just
This is
madness.
some next level things.
I mean, he even revealed to me today that he had 2 brawls in there as well.
Yeah, 2 Owls, 2 Brawls, Iron Juggernaut, and Hogger.
Hogger, yeah, Bouncing Blades, Faceless Manipulator.
Bouncing Blades at the...
No Shield Maidens, no Shield Slams.
I don't know how that works.
Kroba was saying, I've got no Shield Maidens, I've got no Shield Slams. I guess I put another brawl in. I need the removal. Which is pretty cool. So Kroba will be going to the grand finals versus Firebat. That will be coming up very shortly. It's going to be an exciting game. A player who says he's here for fun, he's here for the ride, but now he's here for the money and the world
And the
championship.
glory.
And the glory, yeah. It's
Yes.
gone from fun to glory. So we're going to throw over to the analysis desk view, and they're going to give you some more insight on the game.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. That wraps up the second semifinals, which means we have our 2 finalists. It's Firebat versus Kroba, and who knows? I mean, I thought it was going to be the opposite way around. I was feeling Dutch Boy and Powder, but good job to Kroba. He takes out Powder, who I thought we were talking that we were favoring Powder originally on this side of the room, but thankfully this half of the room has some logic and hope for the Greek player. Just messing, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the series. Subtle, what went right, what went wrong for Powder here?
It's hard to say, really. Like as I brought up at the start, I think the lineups were, in my opinion, favoured for Kroba, just because it was very close to a mirror, but he had the advantage in the extra match, as well as the Harrison, which played a big part in the eventual Oil Rogue mirror that we saw. I do think that towards the end, Kroba's play became a little bit shaky with the Freeze Mage. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, it
Calvi.
was turn after turn, really weird choices we were talking about, but it felt like, you know, the decks were slightly of Kroba, but also the attack cards in each deck were, you know, slightly favoring Kroba. You know, the Rogue was, I guess, slightly slower, and for Powder, while Kroba had the Harrison, which was a key card. But yeah, a lot of weird choices, but they ended up panning out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it could be one of those things where maybe even if his play isn't pristine in terms of every single line he took, the preparation that he made before the event, it's carrying him, and a large reason why maybe he's even favored the match overall. So, job well done. Like some of the choices that he's got, as you can tell. Ninja Animal, getting ready for the next cast. Await your turn, boys. As we get ready to take a look into what happened in the previous series. You saw that Rogue versus the Freeze Mage game. What stood out about this moment to you guys?
I think we might be looking at the wrong moment here. This is just this is a point the casters were talking about whether the sap on the Mad Scientist was worth it, whether there's higher value sap targets in the Freeze Mage like Emperor Thorasan. But I think me and Cowdy were both okay with this play. It seemed reasonable to us. So.
It's a
Yeah,
fair
kinda agree
assessment.
with
I mean,
that,
it's one of those things where you definitely don't want that secret value to be coming in as much as possible. But I think you're absolutely right. Like, it's okay, it's passable. Definitely worse things you could sap for sure. But in the end, like Rogue versus those freeze mages, it's really difficult to kind of put those pressure on if they can just continue to withstand all that pressure you put, unless you build up a really big board with Vile Teachers and they just don't happen to clear it with Doomsayer. So taking a look at the actual setup for the finals, we have Firebat versus Kroba. He was able to do it against Powder's lineup, having that Rogue, that Freeze Mage, and that Druid. How does it stack up with, this new X factor of the Zoo coming in from Firebat? Because I expected Warlock to be a bigger player this event. Unfortunately, it really hasn't had that huge of an impact as I thought.
I think Firebat's lineup is quite strong against what Kroba is playing, but Kroba seems to be the kind of player that would beat Firebat, kind of a wild card with different choices and different decks. So I think Kroba could actually take this, yeah.
It's interesting because based on his Freeze Mage play alone, in his series against RDU, I was extremely impressed with the way he played Freeze Mage. There was a game against Zoo that I think he navigated incredibly well. And then in the last series, his Freeze Mage play seemed somewhat lacking. So I don't know whether that's an issue with his knowledge of different matchups or whether maybe he's suddenly started to take this tournament seriously. Sure. And now the nerves are coming in.
To get back to him because it's a lot of money that he just won.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you're the biggest troll in the world and you say you've come here to have fun, I defy anyone to get this deep in a tournament.
All gloves are off now, man. Yeah. It's starting to get serious. The sleeves are being rolled up. I mean, don't let Kroba fool anybody into realizing that he doesn't want to win from this point on. He's in the finals up against Firebat. I have to lean towards you guys. I think Firebat comes in as the favorite once again, but it'd be kind of a really fun story to see Kroba be able to take it all despite coming in as more of that playful jester. He's just like, hey guys, I'm here to have fun, firing shots at everyone, poking at people, and it comes in here and cleans up the competition.
I think Kroba actually has a better chance than Saucers looking at from the last final. He seems more relaxed as Saucers was really, really nervous in the final. So I think Kroba has a chance, but slight edge to Firebat though with experience and everything behind him there.
All right. Well, I guess this might be the last time, just in case it is the last time, Kaldi, that I see you here. What's your prediction for the finals?
3-2 Firebat, I think. Yeah.
3-2. So we've had 3-2s almost all day. We had a 3-1 for Firebat earlier today. Is it going to be 3-2 or is it going to be more one-sided than that?
I think I've picked the established player every time I've been here so far. So just to go on a limb once, I'm going to say Kroba's going to take the whole thing.
Okay. So we have a believer. And we have a person that's going with the tried and true. Firebat is the reigning champion. He might be the first person to repeat an offline tournament win in the same tournament series, and he might do it back-to-back. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, the grand finals of Gfinity Spring Masters #2.